ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतौ पंगोर्मम मंद मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्बोजौ राधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्यद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमाद श्रीमद्रत्नागर सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविंद देवौ प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि। श्रीमान रास रसारंभी वंशीवट तटस्थित कर्षण वेणु स्वनैर गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रेयस्तुनः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees of ISKCON Scarborough. Thank you very much for inviting me and accepting this humble service from me, even though I am not qualified. Today we will be talking about our most beloved Shri Vrindavandhan, and I would like to discuss few verses from chapter 20 of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter is entitled The Description of Rainy Season and Autumn Season in Shri Vrindavandhan. We must hear as much as possible about Shri Vrindavandhan because that is our eternal home and that is our destination. Radha Krishna Gatir Mama. Vrindavaneshwari Radha Krishno Vrindavaneshwaraha Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatir Mama. Our Gati, our destination, our goal is Shri Vrindavandhan because that is where Radha and Krishna live. Radha and Krishna do not live in any other abode. They do not live in Kurukshetra. They do not live in Dwaraka. They do not live in Mathura. There is only one abode where Radha and Krishna are to be found together. Vrindavaneshwari Radha Krishno Vrindavaneshwara. Srimati Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan and Shri Krishna is the king of Vrindavan. Radha Krishna Gatir Mama. And our destination is Radha and Krishna. So we must hear as much as possible about Shri Vrindavandhan. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, he is the revealer of the Dham. So we will be discussing today from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 20 based on Srila Prabhupada's descriptions as mentioned in Krishna book and also in Srimad Bhagavatam. So first verse, Shri Shuka Uvacha, Shri Shukadev Goswami spoke. Tayostad adbhutam karma davagner moksham atmanaha gopastribhya sama chakyuhu pralambha vadhamevacha. Srila Shukadev Goswami is describing in chapter number 20th of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that to the ladies of Shri Vrindavandhan, the cowherd boys then related in full detail Krishna's and Balram's wonderful activities of delivering them from the forest fire, Davagner, forest fire, and Pralamba Vadham, and the killing of the demon Pralambasur. So in the preceding chapter, my dear friends, Krishna swallowed the forest fire to save his friends from the forest fire. And Balramji killed Pralambasur, again to protect the cowherd friends. And the cowherd boys would come to Vraja and describe to their mothers and fathers the wonderful exploits, the wonderful pastimes of Shri Shri Krishna Balaram. And that is exactly what they are doing. Verse number 2. Gopavriddhascha gopyascha tad upakaranya vismitaha menire deva pravarau Krishna Ramau Vrajam gatau. The elder cowherd men and ladies were amazed to hear this account. Vismitaha means they were amazed to hear about these great adventures of Krishna and Balaram. And they concluded, menire deva pravarau Krishna Ramau Vrajam gatau. They concluded that Krishna and Balaram must have been Deva, must have been some demigods, Vrajam Gatau, who have appeared in Shri Vrindavandhan. Krishna and Balaram are not ordinary boys. Rama means Balaram and Krishna is Krishna. Krishna Ramau Vrajam Gatau. Krishna Ram are actually Deva Pravaro. They are actually very exalted demigods, Devatas who have come in Vraja. Like that, the gopis concluded in their minds, in their appreciation. Verse number 3. Tataha pravartata pravrit sarvasatva samudbhava vidyotamana paridhir vispurjita nabhastala. Then the rainy season began. The rainy season began, giving life and sustenance to all living beings. The sky began to rumble with thunder and lightning flashed on the horizon. So in this chapter, my dear friends, Srila Shukadeva Goswami is describing to Parishit Maharaj the beauty of Shri Vrindavan Dham during two particular seasons, the rainy season and the autumn season. So now rainy season has started. And what does rainy season do? It gives life and sustenance to all living beings. And the sky began to rumble with thunder and lightning flashed on the horizon also. Verse number 4. Sandra nilam budair vyoma savidyut stanayit nubihi aspashta jyotir achannam brahmeva sagunam babhu. The sky was then covered by dense blue clouds, nilam budair. Vyoma. Vyoma means the sky. The sky was covered with dense blue clouds in the rainy season. And savidyut. And there was thunder and lightning. And thus the sky and its natural illumination were covered in the same way that the spirit soul is covered by the three modes of material nature. Brahma eva sa gunam babhav. Guna means the three modes of material nature. Sattva gun, rajagun, tamagun. So Srila Shukadeva Goswami is not just describing the beauty of Shri Vrindavan Dham during the rainy season and the autumn season, but he's also giving many metaphors to explain to us some tattva siddhanta, some very vital lessons in our spiritual life. So first of all, our most beautiful, most beloved Shri Vrindavan Dham has 6 seasons. There are 6 seasons in Shri Vrindavan Dham. And all these seasons are personalities who exist simply to serve Shri Shri Radha Sham Sundar. Their only purpose of existence is to serve Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. They are only meant for the service of Radha and Krishna. These 6 seasons, offering their own unique variety, they are simply enhancing the Leela, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So what are the 6 seasons? Let us analyze. The first season is the summer season, also called as Grishma Ritu. In Sanskrit, it is called Grishma. These 6 seasons are mentioned in Anand Vrindavan Champu, a very beautiful book written by Sri Kavi Karnapur, the son of Shivananda Sen, who was ardent devotee and follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shivananda Sen's youngest son is Kavi Karnapur, and Kavi Karnapur wrote a very beautiful authorized book called Sri Ananda Vrindavan Champu. And in this book, these 6 seasons are described very beautifully. First season is a summer, Grishma Ritu. Grishma Ritu. And that corresponds to the months of May and June, roughly. And in our Sanskrit language, these 2 months of Grishma Ritu, summer season, are Jyeshtha Mas and Ashadha Mas. The second season is the rainy season called as Varsha Ritu. This Varsha Ritu also is 2 months, Shravan and Bhadrapad. And this roughly corresponds to July and August. So there are 6 seasons in Vrindavan. Each season lasts for 2 months, and there are 12 months in a year. So rainy season, Varsha Ritu, is Shravan and Bhadrapad, July and August. And summer is Grishma Ritu. It is Jyeshtha Mas and Ashadha Mas. And it corresponds roughly to May and June. Then after Grishma, summer comes Varsha, rainy season. And after rainy season comes Sharad Ritu, also called as autumn or fall season. So autumn or fall season is called Sharad Ritu. We have our Sharad Purnima, when our Chaturmas begins. And the 2 months are Ashwin and Kartik. Ashwin and Kartik. And this corresponds to roughly September, October. Then we have, after Sharad season, after autumn, we have pre-winter. And this pre-winter is called Hemant. And Hemant is have got 2 months, Margashirsh and Paush. And roughly this is November, December. Margashirsh and Paush. Hemant Ritu. Pre-winter. Then there is winter season. Winter season is called Shishir Ritu. Shishir Ritu consists of 2 months, Magh and Falgun. And this roughly corresponds to January, February. And after Shishir, after winter comes spring season. And spring season is called Vasanta Ritu. And that is the months of Chaitra and Vaishak. And that corresponds to March and April. So in this way, my dear friends, Grishma, Varsha Ritu, Sharad Ritu, Hemant Ritu, Shishir Ritu, and Vasanta Ritu. There are 6 seasons in Vrindavan. And we are discussing in this chapter the descriptions of Varsha Ritu and Sharad Ritu. Rainy season and autumn season. Now, in this 4th verse, there is description of Nilambudar, the clouds, and Vidyut, the lightning, and thunder. So, Srila Shukdev Goswami is giving these metaphors to teach us vital lessons. He is saying, Brahma eva sa gunan babhu. Aspashta jyotir achannam. So, aspashta means covered. The natural jyoti, the natural illumination is covered. And it becomes aspashta, becomes hidden, becomes covered over by the dark clouds in the sky. Nilambudar. And this is similar to the pure Jyotimaya Brahma, Atma. The Atma, the spirit soul, who is Tejomaya, who is Satchidananda, being an Amsha of Krishna, Mamaya Amsha, Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Being a part of Krishna, the spirit soul, which is all of us. We are Tejomaya, we are brilliant. But our brilliance is covered over by the 3 modes of material nature in this material world. That is what Shukdev Goswami is saying. So here, our Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, wrote a very beautiful book, Light of Bhagavad, based on this chapter. And our Acharyas, they comment that over here, Vidyut, lightning, indicates mode of goodness. Why? Because in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, mode of goodness is when all the gates of the body are illuminated with knowledge. So illumination or light represents mode of goodness. So the lightning, Vidyut, in the rainy season, lightning represents mode of goodness. Thunder, the thunder sound of the rumbling of the clouds, thundering of the clouds, represents mode of passion. Because mode of passion is full of activity, sound, noise, clamor, things to be done, desire, ambition. That is mode of passion. Mode of goodness is knowledge, light. So lightning is mode of goodness. Rumbling and thundering of the clouds is mode of passion. And the darkness of the clouds that covers the light of the sun is mode of ignorance. The clouds that cover the sun and make it very dark, even in the daytime, is mode of ignorance. So lightning, mode of goodness, thundering of the clouds, mode of passion, and the darkness produced by the clouds, the dark clouds, is mode of ignorance. And these three modes of material nature, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, sattva, rajas, and tamogun, they cover the spirit soul in this material world. Our spirit soul, our identity is covered by these three modes. Just like in the rainy season, we see lightning, thunder, and clouds. In this material world, the spirit soul, pure spirit soul, is covered by these three modes of material nature. So what is the way out? How do we uncover? Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. How do we clean? How do we uncover the coverings of these three modes of material nature? Param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. By taking shelter of Krishna, specifically in Kali Yuga, by loudly chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can purify ourselves and uncover these heavy, dense coverings of the three modes of material nature. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samatitayatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. In Sri Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that if we practice bhakti yoga, avyabhicharena, without deviation, without any contamination, pure devotion, pure bhakti, uttama bhakti, shuddha bhakti, mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate, if you serve Krishna through bhakti yoga, sa gunan samatitayatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate, then we will be able to cross over these three coverings of the three modes of material nature and attain to the spiritual world. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So therefore, we must take shelter with Daivi Prakriti. Mahatmanastu mam partha Daivim Prakriti ashrita. Bhajantenana manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. We must, instead of being covered by the three modes of material nature, we should take shelter and be covered by the Daivi Prakriti, by the internal potency of Krishna. Taking shelter of Srimati Radharani, taking shelter of devotion. That is the meaning of verse number 4. Then we go to verse number 5. Ashtau masan nipitam yad bhumyas chodamayam vasu swagobhir moktum arebhe parjanyah kala agate. With the rays, the sun, for 8 months, Ashtamasau, for 8 months, what did it do? The sun drunk up the earth's wealth in the form of water. What is the wealth of the earth? It is water. And this water was drunk up by the sun for 8 months. Ashtamasan. Nipitam yad. Pitam, drank. The sun sucked up, drank up all the water of the earth for 8 months. And now that the proper time had arrived, the sun began releasing all this accumulated wealth, the wealth of water. Swagobhir moktumarebhe parjanyah kala agate. Kala agate. When the opportune moment came, that means when the Varsha Ritu came, the rainy season came, all the wealth that the sun had taken in the form of evaporation of water is being returned back to the earth in the form of parjanya, in the form of rain. So our acharyas explain that the sun draws water from the earth, and when the need arises, when after the Grisham Rishu, after the Grisham Ritu, after the Summer season, when the Varsha Ritu comes, because the earth is completely scorched dry by the sun in Grisham Ritu, in the summer season. So to relieve the earth in the Varsha Ritu, in the rainy season, what happens? The Parjanya, the rains come, the clouds send forth rain, and all the water that the sun had drawn in the summer season from the earth is now returned in the form of rain. So our acharyas explain that the sun draws water from the earth, and the sun only creates the clouds through evaporation. And therefore, the sun is returning that water to the earth wherever it is required during the rainy season. So our acharyas explain that this means that whatever we have taken, we must give back. All of us have received so much. We must give back. We must give back. My spiritual master, he says, to whom much is given, much is expected. From that person, much is expected. And all of us have been given a lot. We have been given the most powerful mantra, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We have been given the most powerful process, Harinam Sankirtan. We have been given the association of devotees in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. We have been given a pure devotee as our founder Acharya Guru Maharaj, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. We have got a pure devotee, Mahabhagwat, as our Samsthapak Acharya, founder Acharya. We have got Srila Prabhupada's books, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, Ishopanishad, Sri Brahma Samhita, all these powerful Vedic granthas, revealed scriptures have been given to us. They are being distributed on the streets in this month, book distribution marathon month, December. Books are being distributed. We are getting these revealed scriptures delivered in our laps. And even if you don't want to buy, they are available free of cost on the internet, Vedabase. So much has been given to us. For years, we have been fed Krishna Prasad. For years, we have danced in Kirtan. We have been given access to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. Mahaprabhor Kirtana Nritya Gita Vaditramadhyan Manasorasena Romanchakampa Shrutaranga Bhajo Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. Much has been given to us, my dear friends. And it is said, to whom much is given, from that person much is expected. So because we have been given so much is expected from us. Just like the sun draws water from the earth, but then gives it back in abundance. Similarly, we have taken so much from Srila Prabhupada. We have taken so much from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Gaudiya Parampara. Therefore, we must give back. We must keep receiving. We must keep receiving. But we must give back also. We must distribute what we are receiving. What we are learning, we must give back. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Bharat bhumi te haila manushya janmajar, janma sarthak kari kara paropkar. Janma sarthak kari. First, we have to receive, and we must make our life sublime. And we must continue to receive. And kara paropkar. We must give it to others also. Jive doya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Sar. Receive Krishna Nam and do Jive doya by giving Krishna Nam to others. Give it also. Don't be miser and keep it with yourself. Whatever spiritual knowledge we have received, whatever spiritual inspiration we have received, whatever spiritual advancement we have received, we must give it. Pass it on. Janma sarthak kari kara para upakar. That is what we learn from verse number 5. The sun is drawing water through evaporation from the earth, but also giving it back. And what is the sun drawing? From the ocean, the sun is drawing salty water, which we cannot drink. And what is the sun giving back to us? Sweet rainwater, which we can drink. Just see, this is paropkar. So we can learn these valuable lessons from verse number 5. Also in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a story of the weaver and the garland maker. When Shri Krishna, along with Balaramji and their cowherd of boyfriends from Vrindavan, they come to Mathura on the invitation of King Kansa and they are entering the city of Mathura. There is the example of the weaver and the garland maker called Sudama. There was a weaver. He used to weave beautiful clothes. And sometimes King Kansa would like them and he would take them from this weaver. And other people also would take. He was a weaver. He used to make clothes, garment maker. And there was Sudama, who was the garland maker. So garment maker and garland maker, the weaver and the garland maker, Sudama. Krishna and Balram, as they were walking along the streets of Mathura, they came across this weaver. And Krishna had just been refused garments by King Kansa's Dhobi. And Krishna had liberated him. So now Krishna comes across this weaver, and Krishna does not even ask this weaver for anything. But this weaver, out of his own sweet will, out of his own volition, he says, my dear Krishna and Balram, and my dear Gopa friends from Vrindavan, I am a weaver. All I know is to weave cloth. I have got some nice, colorful, nice silk cloth. Would you like some cloth? Can I give you some garments? And he gifts Krishna and Balram the best garments that he has without charging anything. And he gives to Krishna's friends also. Please enjoy. Take these garments. What does that mean? Krishna is not expecting anything superhuman from us, my dear friends. We all have some core competency. We all have some talent. We all have some ability. Some of us are IT professionals. Some of us are lawyers. Some of us are doctors. Some of us are MBAs. Some of us are cooks. Some of us are housewives. Some of us are employed. Some of us are unemployed. But whatever knowledge we have, whatever skill sets we have, we can use that in the service of Krishna. Krishna doesn't ask us to do something superhuman. Shabri, living in the forest, only had fruits. All Lord Ramachandra and Lakshmanji expected from Shabri is give us some fruits. That's all. They did not expect paneer biryani from Shabri. Here is the garment maker, the weaver. And what is Krishna expecting from the weaver? You have weaved some cloth, just give us some cloth, we'll be happy. The wife of Vidurji, Vidurani, Shrimati Vidurani, all she had in the house was some bananas. And that's what Krishna accepted from her. Not that, can you make some dosa, sambar chutney for me? No. Whatever is there, whatever our core competences, Arjun knew how to fight. He fought for Krishna. He fought for Krishna. So whatever talent we have, whatever ability we have, Krishna accepts that. From that poor Pulinda fruit seller who is mentioned in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that fruit seller, all she had was fruits. So Krishna accepted a handful of fruits from her. And that was her perfection. Hanumanji could carry mountains. So Lord Ramchandra expected Hanumanji to carry mountains because that was his ability. To ask Hanumanji to carry few pieces of sand, that would be a disservice, injustice to Hanumanji because he is capable of so much more. So Hanumanji could carry mountains to build the bridge for Sri Ram. And that is what Lord Ramachandra expected from Hanumanji, but not from a squirrel. Lord Ramachandra was equally pleased with the squirrel just pushing some grains of sand onto the bridge as an offering of love, because that's all the squirrel could do. The squirrel should not waste her time trying to lift mountains, because then she will not be able to contribute even the grains of sand. And similarly, Hanumanji should not waste his ability and talent and strength in just pushing some grains of sand. No, he can do mountains and the squirrel can do sand, but ubhayo tu samam punyam. But both of them get same credit because bhavagrahi janardana. Because Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, accepts our bhav. The squirrel wants to serve with her abilities and Hanumanji wants to serve with his abilities. And the Lord Shri Ramachandra is equally pleased with both of them. So Krishna expects what we have, what we can. We should never feel discouraged and disappointed and depressed that others are doing so much, I cannot do. No, patram pushpam phalam toyam. Water, leaf, flower, fruit, just with bhakti you offer and Krishna will be very happy. Whatever you can do. We should not feel depressed. I cannot sing. I cannot speak Harikatha. I cannot memorize verses. I don't know how to do deity worship. I am not initiated. No, we should not think like this. Bhakti is for everyone. Everyone. Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo. What is that? Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrasya ka. Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya. There was a Dharma Vyadha, a hunter mentioned in Mahabharata, and he became a Diksha Guru, a spiritual master, just by worshipping Krishna. So Vyadhasya charanam. What was the acharan? What was the sadachar of this Vyadh, a hunter? He was an uncivilized tribal hunter. What was the qualification of Valmiki? He was also a dacoit, uncivilized dacoit living in the forest. What was the qualification of Mrigari, mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita? He was also a ruthless, cruel hunter. But they all became pure devotees by chanting Harinam. So Vyadhasya charanam. What was the very good etiquette and mannerisms of the Vyadh, of the hunter? Nothing. Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo. And what was the age of Dhruva Maharaj? Sometimes people, devotees I have heard, they say, I will not hear Harikatha from this speaker. Oh, because he is only 20 years old. He is only 25 years old. He is only 26, 27 years old. Oh, I am 42 years old. Why should I hear from someone who is younger than me? No. Dhruvasya kim vayam. What was the age of Dhruva Maharaj when he had darshan of Lord Krishna? He was only 5 years old. What was the age of Prahlad Maharaj when Lord Narasimhadev appeared for him? Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam. To prove the words of Prahlad Maharaj to be true, Lord Narasimhadev appeared in Sthambe Sabhayam Namrigam Namanusham. He appeared in the Sabha of Hiranyakashipu from a stamba, from a pillar, half man, half lion. Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam. To prove the words of his devotee to be true. What was the age of Prahlad Maharaj? Only 5 years. Hare Krishna. Only 5 years. So, Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya vayam. What was the age of Dhruva Maharaj? Only 5, nothing. So, age is not a qualification. Your etiquettes and mannerisms and good acharan, that is not a qualification. Vidya Gajendrasya ka. And which Gurukul did Gajendra go to? Which degree or diploma did Gajendra have? Was he MBA? Was he MD? Was he MS? Nothing. He was an elephant. He didn't go to any Gurukul, but still he got Krishna. Vidya Gajendrasya kya. So our educational qualification is not required. Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrasya ka. Kubjaya kimunama rupamadhikam kim tat sudam no dhanam. Kubjaya kimunama rupam. What was the name and beauty of Kubja? She was ugly, she was hunchback, and she did not even have any good reputation. What was her reputation? Oh, she is a maid servant of Kansa. Not that she was a very big wife of a king, she was some big famous personality. No. She had no name, fame. Kubjaya kimu nama rup. She didn't have naam, she didn't have roop. No fame, no beauty. Kubjaya kimu nama rupam adhikam kim tat sudam no dhanam. And what was the bank statement saying of Sudama Vipra, the poor Brahman? How much did he have in his bank? Nothing. He was a pauper. He was completely penniless. But he got Krishna and Kubja got Krishna. Just see. Vamsha ko vidurasya yadavapate ugrasya kim paurusham. What was the Vamsha, the great aristocratic family lineage of Vidur? Nothing. He was a Shudra by birth. He was born to a Shudrani. Vamsa ko vidurasya. Vidur didn't have any high family lineage. So aristocracy, being born in a very rich and famous family, is not a qualification for getting Krishna. Vamsha ko vidurasya yadavapate ugrasya kim paurusham. And Yadavapati Ugrasen Maharaj, Kim Paurusham, what was his physical strength? Was he a Maharathi? Was he some very powerful king who had killed many demons? Nothing. He was old and weak, even though he was a king. Yadava Pater, Kim Paurusham. What was his manhood? What was his masculinity? What was his strength, physical strength? Nothing. There is no mention that King Ugrasen Maharaj attacked some demon and killed so many demons. No, nothing. He was not very powerful physically. So physical strength and power is not a qualification. So what is qualification? Bhaktya tuschati kevalam nacha gunair bhakti priyo madhava. Only bhakti is what gives pleasure and satisfaction to Lord Madhav, to Krishna. So, Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayam vidya gajendrasya ka kubjaya kimunama rupamadhikam kimto sudamno dhanam vamshah ko vidurasya yadavapate rugrasya kim paurusham bhaktya tuschati kevalam nacha gunair. Not all these qualities. Nacha gunair bhakti priyo madhava. Only bhakti is dear to Madhav. So this is the message of this verse, my dear friends. So this weaver, he only had some garments, some cloth that he had weaved, and he offered those chadars to Krishna and Balram and the friends, and they were very happy. They blessed this weaver. He became perfect. He got prema bhakti. Then Krishna Balram go further ahead and they see a garland maker. He was making full pushpamala, flower garlands he was making, and his name was Sudama. When the Sudama, the garland maker, he is different from the Sudam Sakha in Golok Vrindavan. That Sudam Sakha is different. And the Sudama Brahman, Sudama Vipra of Avantipur, who went to Dwarka, he is also different. So there are three Sudamas in Krishna Lila. There is the Sudama of Mathura, Sudama of Vrindavan, and Sudama of Dwarka. Sudama Vipra is of Dwarka, the poor Brahman who went to the same school of Sandipani Muni as Krishna at Avantipur in Ujjain. Then we have Sudam Sakha, eternal friend, one of the Dvadasha Gopalas, the 12 cowherd friends, prominent friends of Krishna, like Stoka Krishna, Shridam, Sudam, Madhumangal, like that. So that Sudam is different. And this Sudama of Mathura, who used to make flower garlands, is different. So Krishna and Balram go to the house of Sudama, the garland maker. And Krishna says, my dear Sudama, would you like to offer us some flower garland? And Sudama said, yes, I have been waiting for you. Always I keep meditating, when will my Krishna Balram come and I will offer them garlands. Please come, please come. He starts dancing with joy. Please come. He gives Krishna Balram and their friends a nice place to sit. Gives them pure Yamuna Jal to drink. After sitting them comfortably, he takes the most beautiful, fresh, fragrant garlands that he has made lovingly with his own hands and offers them to Krishna and Balaram and their friends. Krishna is so pleased with him. Krishna says, you will always have devotion for me and you will always have the association of my devotees. What a beautiful benediction. To always have association of devotees and to always have Krishna Prem, Krishna Bhakti in one's heart. Krishna was very satisfied. This story is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. And then in Garga Samhita, Maharaj Bahulashva of Mithila, he asks questions to his Gurudev, Shripad Narad Muni, about these personalities. And Shripad Narad Muni reveals their previous birth to Maharaj Bahulashva. Shripad Narad Muni says that this weaver who offered fine cloth that he had weaved with his own hands to Krishna and Balram, in his previous life also, he was a weaver. But he was a weaver in Mithila, in Janakpuri. He was a weaver in Janakpuri. And when he saw Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna are getting married to the 4 daughters of Maharaj Janak, Ram is getting married to Sita. When he saw the marriage ceremony, he had a desire to offer cloth. So with his own hands, he weaved beautiful, fine silk cloth and gifted it to Maharaj Dashrath and Maharaj Janak to be given to the 4 sons, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna, and the 4 daughters of Janak Maharaj, headed by Srimati Sita Devi. He supplied the cloth. but he gave it to the fathers and indirectly supplied to Sita and Ram. And there he offered his prayer to Sita and Ram, that my dear Siya Ram, my dear Sita Ram, I am so happy to see you all wearing the garments that I have weaved with my own loving hands. But in this lifetime, I could only offer it indirectly. But I have one prayer, I have one desire. In the future, I want to weave fine cloth for you, but I want to offer it myself to you. Specifically, he looked at Ram and Lakshman and he said, hey Ram, hey Lakshman, you are my guests because I am from Janakpuri. I am a resident of Janakpur and you are my guests. Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, you are my guests. So, hey Ram, Lakshman, fulfill this desire. In the future, I want to offer you a garland, but I want to adorn you with my garments, with my own hands. Now I had to give indirectly because, you are Rajaputra, you are princess, and I'm just a humble weaver. That etiquette has to be there. I cannot come directly to you. But in the future, I want to directly offer you cloth with my own hands. So Ram and Lakshman smiled and they said, Tathastu, so be it. It will be so. In the future, this weaver of Janakpur was born as the weaver of Mathura, and Krishna and Balram came to his shop and he was able to adorn their transcendental bodies with his own hands with the cloth that he had weaved. His desire was fulfilled because he had a desire to give. We are talking about giving. He had a desire to give, so he gave. He was able to give. He was given opportunity to give. Samanjasatva virahaye katar. What is that last verse? Mamottama shloka janeshu sakhyam samsara chakra bhramata swakarma bhi tanmaya atma madadara gehe shasakta chittasya nanatha bhuya. Well, before that, what is that? Ajata paksha iva mataram khaga stanyam tadavat satarakshudartha priyam priyaiva vishutam vishanna manoravindaksha tadrikshate tvam. Not this verse also. I'm trying to remember that verse where this name of Krishna is used, that, O giver of all opportunities. O giver of all opportunities. It is, what is that other verse? Aham hare tava padaika mula dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuya manasmareta supater gunamste grini tava karma karotu kaya nanaka prishtham na chaparyameshtham na sarvabhaumam na rasadhipatyam na yoga siddhira punarbhavam va samanjasatva virahaya kangshe. Samanjasatva virahaya kangshe. Samanjasatva. Vritrasur Maharaja is offering these prayers in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the Chatushloki of the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 4 beautiful verses. So he says, Nanaka prishtham nachaparyameshtham nasaro bhaumam prasadhipatyam nayoga siddhir apunarbhavam va samanjasatva virahaya kangshe. I don't want to be the king of the lower planetary system, the Rasatal, which are actually very opulent. I don't want to become Indra. I don't want to become the Sarvabhauma Samrat, Chakravarti Samrat of this earth planet. Na yoga siddhir. I don't want any siddhis, yogic mystic siddhis. Apunar bhavamva. I don't want liberation. Apunar means not to return, to get liberated. I don't want liberation also. If any of these things are going to lead to viraha, separation from you. If these things are going to separate me from you, then I don't want any of these things, my dear friend, my dear Krishna. And Samanjasatva. Samanjasatva means, O Krishna, who is the giver of all opportunities. So because this weaver wanted to give, he was given an opportunity to give. That is the conclusion. And then they went to Sudama, who offered this beautiful flower garlands to Krishna, Balram and their friends. And who was this flower garland maker, Sudama, in his previous life? Hemamali. Shripad Narad Muni says he was Hemamali. And he was a servant of Kuber. And who is Kuber's friend? Lord Shiva. So Kuberji would go to meet Lord Shiva every day to hear Harikatha. And this Mali, this gardener of Kuber, His name was Hemamali. Hemamali would take 300 lotus flowers every day with him, and he would offer them to Lord Shiva. And after some time, Lord Shiva, who is Ashutosh, very easily pleased, he was very pleased. He said, my dear Hemamali, the gardener of my dear friend Kuber, every day you're coming with your master Kuberji to me, and every day you offer me 300 lotus flowers, fragrant, beautiful lotus flowers. What do you want? What is your desire? Tell me. Hemamali said, I am a Vaishnava, and you are Vaishnavana Metha Shambhu. You are the greatest Vaishnava. So I am your servant. I am offering you these lotus flowers with the simple prayer that if you so desire, my dear Shankar Bhagwan, please give me Krishna Prem. Please bless me so that my worshipable deity, my Ishtadev, Krishna Balram, come to my house. Just like every day I come to your house, Lord Shiva. It is my prayer that may Krishna Balram one day come to my house, and with my own loving hands, I make beautiful flower garlands for them, and I garland Krishna Balram with my own hands. That is my desire. Lord Shiva was very pleased with this beautiful prayer of pure devotional service. He said, Tathastu, may it be so. Very soon your desire to give flower garlands to Krishna Balram will be fulfilled. And in the future, he was born as the garland maker in Mathura, Sudama. And Krishna Balram came to his house and accepted his offering of garlands. Such a simple service to make garland. Anybody can make garlands. Krishna is like that. Krishna is a simple Vrajvasi, simple villager, village boy, our Krishna. He doesn't want anything very sophisticated. Anything simple that we can offer, Krishna is very, very happy to accept, my dear friends. Shri Krishna Bhagwan ki jai. There is much more to discuss, but I was told to leave 10-15 minutes for question answers. So I will not speak on verse number 6. I will pause here. If there are any questions, we can take questions. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Vrindavandhan ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu, for giving a wonderful class today. And I was listening to a class and I'm thinking how much you have poured in 45 minutes that we cannot find all the answers, even spending 45 months, I would say, or 45 years. So you can see one question, Prabhu, I just wrote on chat.
Okay. I will
Yeah, please.
write it now.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Okay. Amal Prabhuji is saying, souls, eternal light covered by Maya, the origin of the light is Krishna. Prabhupada referred Katha Upanishad 2.2.15 in the purport of Bhagavad Gita 13.18. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandrarkam nema vidyuto bhanti kuto ayamagni tameva bhantanu bhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. So what is the question?
The question is, you nicely said, Prabhu, that Krishna is the source of all light and the light is covered by Maya. It's amazing way that you actually told us, very simple way. And now I see that you have covered so many things like Katha Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita 13.18. So nicely explained, and I'm very amazed. I want to thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. Just repeating Prabhupada's words.
Thank you. And also you mentioned that Krishna is very simple. Just at the end you said that Krishna is very simple. He does not need anything. As Kunti Devi said in 1.8.26, Bhagavatam, the Janma, opulence, education, and beauty, all these things are not required to approach Krishna. So nicely said. And that finally, I like to mention that you said that nothing is more important or nothing should be more attractive than the association with Krishna. If you kindly expand a little bit on that nothing should be more attractive than the separation of Krishna. Like on the association of Krishna, sorry.
Association of Krishna?
Yes, that would be the more attractive, or we should want only that thing, nothing else.
Yes. So Krishna is all attractive. The name Krishna means Akarshati iti Krishna. Krishna means to attract. So Krishna is one who is all attractive. And therefore Krishna's association is all attractive. Krishna is Madhuram Madhuram. He's the sweetest of all sweets. Krishna's name is sweet. Krishna's face is sweet. Krishna's lips are sweet. Krishna's eyes are sweet. Krishna's movements are sweet. Krishna's smiling is sweet. Krishna's peacock feather is sweet. His flute playing is sweet. His pitambar is sweet. Everything is sweet about Krishna. So Krishna is most attractive. And therefore Krishna's association is more attractive. In fact, anything that we find attractive in this material world, it is because it is a small spark of Krishna. Mamaya Amsha. Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Everyone is just an amsha of Krishna. So whether we find any human being attractive, any animal attractive, some people find certain men and women very beautiful and attractive. Hollywood, Bollywood models. Some people find the ability in some sports stars very attractive. Some football player, rugby player, cricket player, soccer player, they find it very attractive. And they put posters in their room. But all these personalities are attracting us simply because they are a little tiny spark of Krishna. If you remove that spark of Krishna from the body, that body is dead body. And we simply cremate it or we bury it. Like that. So therefore, any attraction we have, it is because of Krishna, because Krishna is all attractive. Therefore, we should dovetail all our attraction towards Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Then our life will be successful. Then we will not be distracted from the path of bhakti. Is that okay, Amal Prabhu?
Nicely explained. Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful answer. There is another question in the chat room. Sugandha Mataji posted a question. You can read that.
I heard that Kubja was Shurpanakha in her previous life. And you had mentioned in the last class that she is Bhudevi. How can we understand these two explanations? Hare Krishna. Both explanations are correct. It is Kalpa Bhed. Every Kalpa, Krishna appears. One Kalpa is 1 day of Brahma. And Brahmaji's 1 year is 360 days. And Brahmaji lives for 100 years. So Brahmaji lives for thousands and thousands of days. And every day Krishna comes. So every day there is new Leela. So this is Kalpa Bhed. Some acharyas say that Kubja was Shurpanakha who had come. And some acharyas say that she was Bhudevi. She was an expansion of Bhudevi, Mother Earth, who came. So both explanations are correct. In different kalpas, the Leela of Krishna manifests in different ways. Krishna Leela has full of variety. Is that okay, Sugandha Mataji?
So nicely answered, I think, Sugandha Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhu.
It's okay. So nicely answered, Prabhu. So I think she's muted. So that's why thank you very much for wonderful answer. And yes, she said yes, Prabhuji. She wrote on this chat. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Pitambar Prabhu has written a question.
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, could you please elaborate on Kubja's desire and Krishna's response after she was cured? We actually just discussed this in the previous class this morning for ISKCON Baltimore. So maybe I just described it, and many devotees are from that lecture also. But anyway, in short, Kubja had a desire to offer her fragrances because she is earth, Bhudevi, and all fragrances come from earth. Her expertise was to manufacture beautiful fragrances, beautiful perfumes. So she wanted to offer them to Krishna, and to reciprocate with her desire, Krishna came to her and asked for what she had, what her core competence was, and asked, and she gave very nicely. Very artistically also, our acharyas explained, she gave the light colored perfumes to dark colored Krishna and dark colored perfumes to light colored Balram, decorated their bodies very beautifully with these beautiful fragrances, fragrant oils, and her life became perfect. Krishna touched her on the chin and her hunch was gone. She became effulgent, beautiful. And then Krishna later on visited her also, along with Satyaki and Balramji, to fulfill all her desires. So she actually got pure Madhura Prem, very sweet conjugal love she got for Krishna, and her life became perfect. So is that okay, Pitambar Prabhu? Very briefly I mentioned what I could. Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay.
sister, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for wonderful class. Any devotees, if you have any question, Prabhu might answer at least one question. Please come up with your question. In the meantime, we'd like to thank, on behalf of ISKCON Scarborough, I think someone is trying to ask a question. Please go ahead.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu, you said like if like some of the devotees who have come from the jungle or like from the forest, they didn't have to have any mannerisms or etiquette. But as devotees, like we have to always because we are not from the jungle or this thing, but Krishna will expect us to do all the things, right? Because in the Bhagavad Gita he says like how a transcendentalist will walk, sit, talk, and all. So could you please explain on that, Prabhuji, please?
Yes. So here Acharan specifically refers to the finer aspects of manners and culture. All that these hunters did not have because they were simple tribal people. They did not know how to perform elaborate deity worship or how to perform a fire sacrifice or how nicely to wear a dhoti. They didn't know all these things. They were simply tribals wrapping a cloth and living in the jungle. So they did not have all these fine mannerisms, but that was not a disqualification for them to get Krishna. And they were able to please Krishna and get Krishna. We are supposed to do what our Acharya, what our spiritual master has asked us to do. And Srila Prabhupada has given us a Vaishnava etiquette manual, how we should wear our dhoti in the Bengali style, how Mataji should wear sari, how we should wear the Gaudiya Vaishnava tilak, how the clothes should be washed and ironed, and we should wear simple kurta, simple dhoti. So we should wear kanthi mala. So whatever method has been given, whatever Vaishnava etiquette manual has been provided to us by our Acharya, our spiritual master, we should follow that. That is our dharma. But one should not think that simply by wearing a nice kurta and nice dhoti and a nice bold tilak, I can get Krishna. No, these are external. These are external things. They are important because love is in the details. These are details, but details are important. But details are not all important. All important is bhakti. All important is bhakti. So yes, you are right. We should follow Vaishnava etiquettes very properly. Mahaprabhu expects that. He says, Yadyapi tumi ho jagata pavan, toma sparsha pavan hoye deva muni gan, tathapi bhaktera swabhav maryada rakshan, maryada palana hoye sadhura bhushan. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Sanatana Goswami that tathapi bhaktera swabhav maryada rakshan. It is the nature of a devotee, maryada rakshan, to follow Vaishnava etiquettes, to remain in maryada, to remain within the boundaries of Vaishnava etiquette. And maryada palana hai sadhura bhushan. And the decoration of a devotee, the ornamentation of a devotee is observance of Vaishnava etiquette. So this Vaishnava etiquette, it is important. It makes us beautiful in the eyes of Krishna. Yes. So for us, it is important. But at the same time, we should understand that it is not just by following, having these mannerisms that we can get Krishna. So I hope, is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Sugandha Mata is asking one question in the chat box. One more question. We are supposed to serve to the best of our ability as much as we can. How do we know we are doing our best? And if we can do more than what we are currently doing? Very nice question, Sugandha Mataji. This question can only be asked by someone who is very sincere and who wants to go deep. If we are honest with ourselves and we are a little introspective, then we will come to know whether we are doing our best or not. And secondly, externally, we also need a Shiksha Guru, a spiritual guide who can individually guide us to our full potential. So two things. Internally, we must introspect. And if we are sincere and honest with ourselves, we'll come to know. Because it is said, Krishna doesn't see how much we are giving. Krishna sees how much we are holding back from him. So if we are honest and we introspect, we will come to know whether we are giving it our 100% or not. And externally, we need a good Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. We need an advanced devotee who can guide us to offer Krishna everything to the fullest potential. I hope this is okay, Sugandha Mataji. Is that okay? Hare Krishna. Okay.
Yes, that's good, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. When we are hearing your lecture, every word is very meaningful, and you are very nice in actually gathering all the nice and related information so that we can be benefited from the scriptures. Thank you, Prabhu, for giving a wonderful class. And I would like to thank all the devotees who have joined from US and Canada to today's class. And I'd like to thank Prabhu on behalf of ISKCON Scarborough for giving your wonderful time. And we would like to have your association more and more in future. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.